Good morning, everybody. Happy Monday. Hope everybody had a great weekend. Weather wasn't too bad. All righty. All right. Had a great weekend. I did. My daughter had tickets to the Braves have the minor league uh group. It's called the Stripers, and they're in Gwinnett County. And so we had tickets to go see them, but it rained. And so we didn't get a chance to, and of course, they allow you to sit inside in the clubhouse. But what's the point of going to a game if you got to sit inside and watch it? So we didn't stay. But other than that, I had a great weekend. The great part about going, though, I have a thing for big chairs. So anytime somebody has a big chair, I got to go sit in it. So the Stripers Park had a big chair. So I went to go sit in the big chair. I have a collection of pictures of me sitting in big chairs. But that was the highlight of my weekend. Hopefully, you all had a highlight. All right, we got almost everybody in. Go to Canvas. We have a warm-up question, discussion question. I need to edit it because I don't think I put. I'm going to edit it. I didn't put points on it. I don't think so. Let me do that. But we did terrestrial ecosystems last class. Um, Today we're looking at aquatic ecosystems. So I have um created. There we go. I did not do that. And let's give this 3 points. All right, and it is all right. So this is a warm-up question, so it's kind of just due at the end of the week. All right, so now it has just going in the grade book. I forgot to do that. So many buttons to click. All right, so I want you to think about if you wanted to go on vacation, what would your answer? Somebody asked you, where do you want to go on vacation? What would your answer be? But I want you to think about someplace that's near a body of water. It can be a lake, stream, ocean, but think about your answer being near a body of water. So then also say, uh, name the body of water that it's closest to. All right, let me let these folks in and then, yeah, Bahamas is, I lived in the Bahamas for 11 years. My husband was from the Bahamas. My children's daddy uh, is from the was from the Bahamas. He recently passed away, but Bahamas is like Freeport. It's like my second home. I consider the people there my family because I lived there, went to church there, did a lot of things while I was there. Lovely place. It's my favorite place to go. I'm trying to go other places in the world, broaden my horizons a little bit, but my go-to place is to go to Freeport. All right, can you open up another? Which assignment would you like me to open up, Cameron? Is it in somebody saying go to, you want the reflection? Okay, I can do that. You can also go to, this is a to-do activity. So it'll be on your warm up on your I'm gonna check what you the who's it said that? And I love the way y'all are so helpful. Nyla says you can go to Learning Vault, but you can also go. It should be on your desktop under the to-do list. Usually the things I put on are on your to-do list. They're not necessarily in the module. So it's the last thing. So I'm looking at the student view and it's the last thing on your to-do list. It says aquatic ecosystem warm up. So we're only going to take a few minutes. This is just a thought question while we're waiting on stragglers to come to class. Okay, so I'm going to look at what you just said. So let me come out of this. And as always, we got a couple of people who have answered already. Cool, cool, so cool. But when you finish, stay in the module because we are going to wrap up terrestrial and start aquatic. So stay there. Okay, she said go to Learning Vault. Oh, also, since we're here, this week starts tutorials. So if there's anything you need extra help with, I think this is the Learning Vault is where you need to come. And you do have to sign up. Let me see what that looks like. You do have to sign up for that so that I know you're there. Um, Let me see. Okay. Anything else? Let's see. Yes, you may. All right. Then again, if I'm looking, because I'm not the student, I'm not going to see anything in here that I can do. But you can sign up um, if you need extra help with something. Let me come out of this. You're welcome. Okay. Let me look. Uh, but yeah, tutorials are on Tuesdays and Fridays. So you can make a note of that. Tuesdays and Fridays from 1:35 to 2:05. If you need another time, just let me know. But I'm usually available. Some of you all have seventh period classes. And so if you don't have a seventh period class and you need a tutorial during that time, I'm available during that time. Anytime between 1:30 and 2. If you need it between 2 and 2:30, let me know because that's a special arrangement. All right. You wanted me to do, so I'm gonna stop sharing so I can open up Tragedy of the Commons. Today's work is on your to-do list. I'm only gonna give the next few minutes. Check your to-do list. Check your to-do list. Um, all right, and keep in mind, um, Cameron, is it that it won't let you submit? 'Cause I really don't want to change the date. Will it let you submit or it won't let you submit? Okay, so let me edit it. Um, it's available until, all right, I'm gonna make it available until tomorrow. So it should let you access it now. It's still late, but you have access to it. And folks, that's what I will do. If you can't get in an assignment, I'm not going to change the late date. It'll still be late, but I will change the availability date. If it's locking you out from doing a late assignment, let me know. I will change the availability date. I'm not changing the late date. So please know that. Okay. All right. Hopefully everybody has had a chance to, and always do the warm-up exercise before you try catching up on other things. Do the warm-up exercise and then. So I'll give another 2 minutes for everybody to answer that question. Then when you finish the question, okay. All right. Alita, I got that comment. Let me see what I can do for that. Oh. Mm-mm. Mm. Okay, and the same thing with that one. I will edit the availability date, but I will not change the late date. Available until tomorrow. All right, so if you haven't done your ecological footprint, that's also open, available until tomorrow. It's still late, but it's available. And remember with that one, when you go on the website, you're creating 2 screenshots as well as telling me your reaction to your results. So if you haven't done that one, 2 screenshots, the summary and the results. So that the results is the one that has all of the different earths on it. The summary has a breakdown of everything. And then you don't have to do a screenshot of the page that has your emotions. Just tell me what you think about that. All right. All right. So again, be reading aquatic ecosystems. I'm going to do attendance real quick, and then we'll talk. The discussion is also open so that you can look at other people's comments and comment. But in the next 3 minutes, everybody needs to have answered if your body is present today, you need to have answered the discussion question, please. Aquatic biomes, yes. It should say aquatic biomes warm up. You answer that question, and then when you finish answering the questions, go to the module aquatic biomes. And actually, if you'll notice that that's the first line um, in that biome as well. And folks, I shouldn't see where the person is idle. When I look at GoGuardian, I shouldn't see that they've been idle for 14 minutes. We've only been in class 14 minutes. That means you logged in and took a walk. That's not being present. Can only have one. Okay. I believe we're just missing one person. Also be reminded that the classes are now live streamed, so you'll be able to find that on your class video list. Okay. Oh my gosh. Okay, I found my missing person. Okay. Hopefully everybody's had a chance to respond to the question. Got a couple of people who want to go to the Bahamas. Uh, okay. We got one going to Hawaii. Oh, um, Camila, tell me about the place that you want to go to. Um, can you come off mic and off mute and pronounce that for me? I don't know how to pronounce that. Or did you want to say Dubai? Because you might have misspelled it. Is that supposed to be Dubai? Camila Davis. Camila with a K. I'm sorry, I got a Camila with a K and a Camila with a C. Camila Davis. Tell me, I think you meant to say Dubai. Are you there, Camila? This is what I mean by some of your log in and disappear on me. Remember, this is a participation class. Every once in a while, I'm gonna call on you to share something. All right, we'll come back. I think she meant to say Dubai, and she said its closest body of water is the Persian Gulf. So, um, Caroline said she wants to go to Greece. That's where I want to go. That's on my bucket list to go to Greece. All right. Um, all right, so we got a couple of Hawaiis. About 5 or 6 of you going to the Bahamas. And lakes are good too. All right, Miles, I just marked you absent. Did you just come to class? Let me go make sure. Yep. Let me go change the attendance. Miles, were you in and just got kicked out, or were you late? Because I had marked you absent. Okay, no problem. Mark you present. And I see you answered the question, so you had to be here. And lakes are okay too. Lakes and rivers, and like if you just like going up to Lake Lanier for the weekend, although lately people have not been wanting to go to Lake Lanier because folks have not been too safe up there, but um, lakes are good. Lakes are good. All right. Good, good, good. All right. Thank you all for sharing. That was good. All right. So let's look at our module and let's look at what our aquatic ecosystems are. Now, remember, an ecosystem is something that not only looks at the living things, but it also looks at the non-living um, aspects of the environment. Now, in this case, our non-living thing is water, and water is extremely important to all the living things in this ecosystem. All right, let me share. Caroline, oh, don't you wish you were there? Venezuela. All right. Is the other place that's on my bucket list is Belize. Isn't that off of Venezuela? Close to Venezuela, Sarah? Have you been there or you just want to be? Great. Been there once. All right. Supposed to be beautiful, beautiful. Central America is supposed to be very beautiful, and South America, beautiful. Yes, I think it is close to Belize. Was trying to figure out how much of the Caribbean is. I have a Caribbean heritage, so I was saying that before I go traipsing all over the world, I need to look at my heritage and check out the Caribbean. So Belize is another one on my bucket list. Greece and Belize. Probably do Belize first. Justin, which one? Venezuela or Belize? All right, while you answer that, we'll look at this one. All right, so again, the question that we opened up with was the opening question on the module. And again, tried to get you to focus on a aquatic one, but because they said chances are when you think of vacation, you probably think of someplace not near a body of water. But I specifically wanted you to think of places that definitely had a body of water near them. So again, they've got Okefenokee, that's close to us. The Gulf of Mexico actually is kind of close to us too. It's right there off of Florida, and Alabama is Gulf of Mexico. So that's close. All right, the thing that we need to remember about the water on our planet, on our biosphere, is the Earth is 71% water and 29% land. So it's more aquatic than it is terrestrial. We've got two kinds of water that we need to think of, fresh versus salt. So we need to make sure that we are familiar with what does it mean to be a freshwater biome. So we're looking over here. Freshwater biomes can be, it's not that they don't have any salt, that they have a low concentration of salt. So there's going to be a little bit. But because it's a low concentration of salt, animals and plants are adapted to life that, yes, hardly any, with a little bit of salt. Now, if you remember from biology, you have the cells in your body go through, we have osmosis, that's the movement of water across the cell membrane. So we have the movement of water can go in and the cell will puff up, and that's good for plants. Plants need the water to go in so they can stand up nice, straight, and tall. And then the water can move out, and if the water moves out, it shrivels up. Same thing with animals. If the water is going in, the cells are nice and puffy, and and our cells have a little mechanism inside that keeps a nice balance of the water. But if there's too much water going in, the cells can explode, which is not good for an aquatic animal. Or if the water is moving out of the cell, the organism can dry up. Okay, so we need a nice balance of water going in and out of these aquatic organisms. Salt will change the concentration of water. So the organisms that are adapted to fresh water will not have the ability to balance that salt water concentration. All right, so again, we have these areas, and you need to be familiar with where so the up here is going to be lakes and streams. Those are going to be your freshwater areas. Your glaciers, most of our water is frozen, actually. It's locked up in glaciers and frozen regions of the planet. And that's freshwater, okay? But with saltwater ecosystems, we're looking at the oceans, we're looking at coral reefs, and we're looking at estuaries. Now, estuaries are those areas where the ocean meets the end of a river. So you've got a mixture of the ocean water and river water, and there's a special balance of organisms that live there as well. All right, so looking back over here of our examples, the freshwater biome. So Lake Lanier is a freshwater biome. The rivers and streams would be the Chattahoochee River and the Okefenokee Swamp. Our saltwater would be the Atlantic Ocean, so Tybee Island, as we talked about earlier, Gray Reefs, and Sabelo Island. That's also a barrier island. Like some of you mentioned that Tybee Island is called a barrier island, and we'll talk about that, those kinds of things as well. But um, when you come down here and we look at these, see, these two are off the coast. These are off the coast. Okefenokee is kind of running in the middle. Lake Lanier is, and Chattahoochee run closest. I think you all said you were closest to Chattahoochee. Okay. And I think I had asked you to click on these. So let's click on these real quick. All right. So we talked about this one in our warm up from last class. So it is near the Atlantic Ocean. It is divided into 5 specific regions. A quad. Let me back up. It is not. Tybee Island is not, but it is ocean. The oceans are Pacific, Atlantic, Indian, Southern, and Arctic. Those are the ocean areas. So Tybee Island is in the Atlantic. Um, When we talk about biomes, we need to talk about climate and temperature, the type of organisms that live there, both plants and animals. So the type of fish and reptiles are very specific to different regions. So if you look over here, like Lake Lanier, it's a lake for one. So it's interior, and all lakes and rivers are usually interior. You have ponds, and they have different depths. All right, they are affected by seasonal trends in water, which means we have high levels, which is why sometimes we have droughts. This year, we're definitely not going to have a drought. All the levels are very high. I passed by the Oconee River the other day, and that one kind of runs with the level with the highway. So if that gets any higher, it's going to flood the highway. Recently, we were in Tampa Bay, and that's scary too because that one runs level with the highway. So if you have hurricanes and like we're about to have, um, that could flood. Alrighty. So again, we want to looking at this is an interior river. So you have cooler temperatures, the water is clearer, a lot of oxygen because it's a river. Difference between a lake and a river is rivers are moving and sometimes fast moving. So because they are moving, they pick up oxygen all the time as they move. So the type of organisms that you'll find here are very different than the ones that you'll find in a lake. Okay. All right. Okay. So looking at the recap. All right, so this is where I wanted you to look over here. You need to study this. Okay. This is off the shoreline. So you need to understand to wrap your head around the vocabulary words littoral zone, which is right here close to shore. So it's in the water, but it's really close to shore. Then you have the photic zone, and photic is what it sounds like. The light hits it. Photic means light. So light is hitting that area. And then the apophotic zone, which is where the deep water is, where light is not getting to the bottom of that area. And this is still very close to shore. So you're going to get more light here than you would out at deep sea. All right, so this is lakes and ponds. Okay, So know these three words for lakes and ponds. Littoral zone, open water zone, which is photic, so that's on the surface of the water, light still reaches it, and then deep water zone, which is aphotic, meaning light's not getting down there. All right. Then we have our ocean. Okay, the ocean gets a little deeper. So you have the intercoastal zone is kind of like the littoral zone, being as it's close to shore. And notice you've got different things, living things that are growing off of the rocks close to the shore. Then you have the Nerdic zone, you have the ocean zone, and then you have the benthic zone. Then you have the abysmal. It's not in the picture, but you abysmal. I think some of you have heard of being in an abyss. That's way, way down where that's even further than the benthic zone, where there's no light down there at all. Things are definitely in the dark. That's usually so deep that divers don't go down there. That's where they send those submarines down that can take pictures and go where no man can go. It's like the final frontier in the water. Okay, so make sure that you wrap your head around these vocabulary words too. Study the diagram. Now also you have waves. So you have ocean currents, which is something else that makes it different from being ponds and lakes. You don't have currents in ponds and lakes. You have ocean currents. So you see this big wave, and that stirs up things. Okay. Okay, so take a look at that. I'm going to stop sharing for a minute. I'm going to load the video that I wanted you to see. So study those vocabulary words. Look at the challenge. And I have a video that I want you to watch. Now, this also, um, this is also the end of this module. So we're going to do end of module tests for this one. So again, take a few minutes to, before we start looking at the next one. So this module, this is the last one in this module, which means on Wednesday, we'll review. When do I see you next? Thursday, there'll be a test. The test is going to be in Canvas. All right, so look that over, look over the vocabulary, make sure you got wrapped your head around all the pictures, especially the pictures, all the different zones, because there'll be questions about which zone do you want to, would you normally find? And let me load this video.
From idea to submission, empower students to do their best work with Grammarly's comprehensive AI writing assistant.
try to get the commercial out of it before I start showing it.
Welcome to Moo Moo Math and Science. In this video, I'd like to talk about aquatic biomes. Earth's made up of almost 70% water. This water can be divided up into two basic aquatic biomes. They are freshwater, which include rivers and streams, lakes and ponds and wetlands, along with the marine biome, which include the ocean and estuaries. So let's get started with aquatic biomes. Talk about freshwater biomes. The Earth has lots of water, but only 2.5% is freshwater. The major freshwater biomes include ponds, lakes, streams, rivers,
Okay.
and
So
wetlands.
that's a statistic that you need to remember. So of the 71% of the planet that's water, only 2% is fresh water. Okay, remember that very small part is fresh. All the rest is salt water.
Plants and animals in these freshwater biomes are adapted to low salt content in freshwater and are unable to survive in areas of high salt concentration. Salt water is 30 to 50 parts per thousand salt to water, where fresh water is only 0.5 parts per thousand. Let's take a look at some freshwater biomes. Rivers and streams. The water in rivers and streams to the mouth, where the flowing water empties into a larger body. The slope of the landscape determines the direction and speed of the water flow. When the slope is steep, water flows quickly. When it is not as steep, the water slows down. The currents and turbulence of fast-moving rivers and streams prevent much accumulation of organic materials in fast-moving rivers and streams. Lakes and ponds are inland bodies of standing water.
Zoom is about to do something.
It can be as small as a few square meters or as large as 1,000 square meters. Some ponds might be filled with water for only a few weeks or months each year, whereas some lakes have existed for hundreds.
I think my Zoom
Hundreds
is
of
glitching.
years. Wetlands are areas such as marshes, swamps, and bogs that are saturated with water and support aquatic plants called wetlands. Plant species that grow in the moist, humid conditions of wetlands include pond lilies, cattails, and willows. Wetlands have a high level of species diversity. Many
That was a
amphibians,
list, a location
including
that we did not talk about on Canvas, but you need to remember some areas. Swamplands are also wetlands. So they mentioned swamps. Okefenokee Swamp, but wetlands, those are wetlands. Florida has a lot of wetlands.
Including salamanders and reptiles and birds, live in the wetlands. So there we go. Freshwater biomes. We have rivers and streams, lakes and ponds, and wetlands. The Earth is roughly 70% water. 97% of this water is composed of our oceans and seas. Let's take a look at the ocean.
Commercial.
On your face is delicate, so I just feel
Most of us only experience the ocean from the beach or on the shore. If you go underwater or out into the ocean, you discover that it is overflowing with life. The ocean can be divided into 5 major oceans. The Pacific, which is the largest, the Atlantic, Indian, Southern, and the Arctic Ocean. And then these oceans can be subdivided into seas. The ocean is teeming with life. It includes animals as large as a 40-foot humpback whale and as small as microscopic plankton. It also includes a huge variety of plants and coral reefs that stretch for miles. It also includes the largest mountain range called the Mid-Ocean Ridge. The ocean impacts our weather and has been used for years as trade routes. We play on the beaches of oceans and wonder what can be found in the deep trenches like the Mariana Trench, which is 32,000 feet deep. Although we're fascinated with the ocean, we've only explored about 5% of the ocean. So there you have a quick overview of our most diverse and largest biome on Earth, the ecosystem called the estuary. An estuary is a body of water that has fresh water entering and is also open to the ocean. It is semi-enclosed coastal body of water, and it's connected to the open sea, and also this salt water is diluted when fresh water from land drains into it. Estuaries have been called the nurseries of the sea because they provide a safe environment for fish and birds and other wildlife to raise their young. Estuaries also have producers called phytoplankton, which help the food chain and provide food for many of the wildlife. Estuaries also help because they filter sediment and pollutants from the water before it flows into the ocean. Estuaries are also important because they buffer the ocean and the land, and they can help decrease the effects of flooding and storm surges. Estuaries can be classified according to their geological features. The classifications include coastal plain estuaries, tectonic estuaries, bar-built estuaries, and fjords. Coastal plain estuaries look like valleys with gentle sloping bottoms. Their depth increases towards the river's mouth. This type of estuary is common throughout the world. An example is Tampa Bay in the U.S. Bar-built estuaries are formed when sandbars build up along the coastline. and they partially cut off the waters behind them from the sea. Fjord estuaries are narrow with steep sides and are usually straight and long. Fjords are found in areas that have been covered by glaciers. And finally, tectonic estuaries are created when the sea fills in a hole or basin that's formed from sinking land. San Francisco Bay is a good example. So there we go, estuaries, the nurseries of the world, places where fresh and salt water mix together, what plant and animals love. Thanks for watching, and Moo Moo Math uploads a new math and science video every day. Please subscribe and share.
Alrighty.
Your favorite movies and
All right. My background picture is Tampa Bay. Where do I want to be? All right. So again, what I'd like you to do, being as we have concluded all of the modules in this section, is to make sure that you go back to the review page and you have a list of, this one is kind of different. Normally there are review questions at the end. This one doesn't have it. So make sure that you are familiar with the organization of life, what the difference between the ecosystems and biomes. And we've looked at a terrestrial ecosystem and an aquatic ecosystem. So know what those are. As far as the organization of life is concerned, that's mostly this list of vocabulary words here, where you need to know that one is part of the other. So that's a big part, big part. Okay. So look at this picture again. Know that this class kind of starts from here, where we create the organism, and then this is mostly what the rest of the year will be about, looking at how organisms form populations. So we'll study populations, we'll study communities. Right now we're looking at ecosystems and understanding that an ecosystem has both living and non-living aspects to it. So be aware of, well, living things are obvious to you, but know that the sun, the water, the soil, the air, what else? What am I missing? Those are important to living things, but they are non-living. Okay. All right. And then we call that abiotic factors. All right. The video I just showed is now on your playlist, so that if you wish to go back and look at that again, it will be there. And oh yeah, be familiar with this map. So these are the different biomes and they're color coded, but usually the map has the key at the bottom. So it tells you what to expect. I had said I was going to give you a hard copy of that. So let me work on putting a hard copy of that in your actually, I don't. Okay, just make sure you download that. So you hit that one and download it, and then you will have a hard copy. Okay, so hit that download button and you will have a hard copy of this biome map. Make sure you do that. Make sure you look this over so that you know which biomes have what kind of weather, where you're going to find the most rainfall, where you're going to find the least amount of rainfall. Where do you live? Somebody in the chat, tell me, where do you live? Which biome do you live in? I'm going to ask you that. Make sure you know. What biome do you live in? No, we don't live in the plains. We kind of live in a forest, but what kind of, there are different kinds of forests. Thank you, Sarah. A deciduous forest. So like if you're looking right here, right now, there's a taiga forest, a boreal forest, there's a deciduous forest. Technically, the rainforest is a forest. So there's 3 different kinds of forests. So we are in a temperate deciduous forest. Okay, so this is the kind of weather that we fall into. These are the kind of animals that you are most likely going to see in our area. And the thing that makes our area unique is that we have 4 seasons. Not all biomes don't have 4 seasons, some only have 2. And the trees in our area, as they're getting ready to do next month, change colors and eventually will drop their leaves, and that's in order to reserve their energy through the winter. They don't die, they just are reserving their energy. Okay. All right. So make sure you download this, take a look at that. I'm going to give you the last few minutes of class to organize your notes, organize your thoughts. If you haven't answered this morning's question, make sure you do that. And any other questions that you might have outstanding, if you need me to expand something, make something available, now's a good time to tell me to do that. Again, we are going to test this unit on Thursday. Okay. Again, that download can be found in the part that says ecosystems and world biomes. And then we have our aquatic. Okay, know your zones. And take a few minutes to quiz yourself on the true false. All right, so this one does have a before you go, what you need to know. So make sure you need to know that. All right, let me see something. This is just another picture. Oh, that one is not available to you. So let me make that available to you. All right, I'm gonna leave that alone. All right, so again, in the next, what, 5 minutes that we have left, make sure that you've answered today's question. Um, if there's anything you need me to open up, and then just start organizing your review thoughts because we are testing on Thursday. Mm. All right, again, if there's anything I need to adjust for you, open, make available, please let me know. Um, if all is good and you know what to do, I'll see you on Wednesday. Y'all have a great rest of your day. Bye-bye. Thank you.